All right, I'd like to welcome everyone inside Chateau lanes for the 36th annual Manitoba Open. There were 72 bowlers that bowled here this weekend, and we are now in the position round of the match play portion of the tournament. I'm Darren Sini with NDBowling.com, and again, I'll be joined by Mike Borowski. Mike, welcome back to NDBowlTV.
Yes, thank you very much. It's really a pleasure to be here again. This tournament is always so great, and 72 entries, a little bit under what we were expecting, but maybe the weather had a little bit to do with that. It was really cold, and some of the roads were a little bit difficult, so would have expected a few more locals, but we don't always get them because of the caliber of bowlers that we get from the surrounding areas in the U.S. and different provinces across the country.
Yeah, and just looking out here right now, you know, you have four-time USBC Open Eagle winner Matt Mcneel. You have PBA players in Matt Mcneel, Zach Wilkins. You've got Dave Langers, Chad Nelsons, defending champion Andy Mills. I mean, you got names all over the board that people are used to hearing all over the nation, both in Canada and in U.S.
And it does me proud to see two of our top Canadian national team players, Mitch Hoope and Zach, right in the running, right till the end. This is the position round. This is the last game. Anything can happen. We already had a 300 today by Wade.
Yep.
So, my gosh, the numbers are certainly big enough.
All right, so with that being said, let's first go through our scores yesterday while we have a minute. And our leading qualifier, it was a 10-game qualifier, and they took 24 to day 2. Wade Scott was our qualifying leader with a 23-19, so a 231 average for 10 games. It's pretty good. Our cut line was 20-54, so 54 over was the number, and that was Jeremiah Smith. We had a good mixed bag of righties, lefties. We had quite a few Canadians in there. We had quite a few people from the U.S. So some females in there. We had Felicia made it. So
yeah, it was nice to see Felicia Wong not only get in, but she's in close now, because that last game that she pulled off 259 to get into this position round is really, really important, because now she's going to be playing someone she really could affect the result.
Right, and that brings us to our current standings. For those of you watching, we are now entering our position round, and in first is Wade Scott against Andy Mills. Wade's got 1801, Andy Mills at 1760, so Wade's got a 41-point lead on that top spot. In third is Matt Mcneel at 1736. In fourth, Zach Wilkins at 1621, so a big gap there between third and fourth. In fifth is Felicia Wong at 1612. And right behind her is Mitch Hoope in sixth at 1605. In seventh, Mike, I don't want to butcher his name, but he's at 1601 in seventh, and Dave Langer at 1599 in eighth. So
that's a tough one. That's a tough handle on Mike.
From fourth all the way down until 13th, it's a 50-pin spread. So really, we got to keep an eye on all these
anybody can jump
matches out here to see what will happen.
Yeah.
So
anybody can jump. There's no question. Felicia and Mitch are actually paired together on this match, so that's going to be very interesting. Our two Canadians fighting for the last spot.
Yeah, and then you got to watch what's behind them as well. So
of course,
we are underway here in our position round. Wade Scott up on lane 17. He's been bowling well all week. He had the 300 here, game 5 of match play, and had quite a big lead, but that last game he had a 194, and he mentioned to me he won the match, but it doesn't, it reflects that on our score. So he did win that match. He hasn't lost yet today, but hot on his heels was Andy Mills, who went 254, 278, 255 the last three to vault himself to second place, and he is our defending champion, so looking for a repeat here in Winnipeg.
Yeah, you can't discount that, because once you've experienced it, you really want to stay there, and you know how to do it too.
And one good thing to look at is we bowled on this pattern back in 2013, which was the year before we started doing NDBowlTV shows here. And Eric Parvey won that year, and making that show was also Matt Mcneel, Clayton Moore, Mike Schmidt, and Felicia Wong. So to see Matt and Felicia back in the running on this same pattern shows a little continuity in the tournament as well, because It worked for them back then. It still works now.
It still works, yeah. And it's interesting because we always say as coaches that, when you're coaching very highly experienced and good bowlers, is that if they can match their game up to what's in front of them, they can make it happen. So when you look at these players, the pair they're on is going to make a difference. And the ones that match up sooner to get lined up, they're the ones that are going to succeed.
So again, we're going to try to keep you updated on the scores happening around our featured pair here. On to our immediate left is the Matt Mcneel and Zach Wilkins match, and our immediate right is Mitch Hupe and Felicia Wong. So the match on the right will be our 5-6 match that we're going to keep an eye on, and they're both starting out pretty strong.
Yeah, there's not going to be any let up on either side there. They want in.
The pride of Canada, as they say.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to have 3 Canadians in the top 6, so to speak, at this point.
Yeah, with Zach Wilkins also up here.
Yeah, exactly.
As they call him, maple fish down in the PBA. So.
Yeah, he is one heck of a player, and I think he's the only two-handed no-thumb release player in the field. I saw one more.
Yeah, there was one other one yesterday.
There was one other younger player. Yeah, it looks like learning to get to play with it. So at this level. But Zach, of course, is one of the best in the country, and I suspect one of the best in the world right now. It's just a matter of him getting some additional experience on additional patterns and trying to line his game up.
I want to say it was the U.S. Open here just not that long ago that he led after the first round of it. So,
yeah, he did very well. You're absolutely right.
Definitely a national name, and in front of us we see quite a few bowlers that have been regulars on NDBowlTV as Andy Mills and Wade Scott here. So,
yeah, you alluded to the left-hand, right-hand thing. We really had a great number of left-hand bowlers in this tournament this weekend, which makes for a fairness, I consider, because when you consider the percentage of the lefties and the righties that are up in this area, it just tells you that the shot is not favored one way or another. Some will maybe line up to it a little bit differently than others or sooner and maybe score a little bit higher, but the point is they've mastered their side. That's what they've done.
Right. And what I've noticed is we did a preview article on NDBowling.com last week, and when I was here in 2013, it seemed like a lot of the left-handers got at the pattern early, and then as the day went on in the 10-game qualifier, a lot of the right-handers kind of moved into their laydown area, so then it turned into more of a grind for the left in the later portions of the qualifying round, where today the left side didn't really have to worry about the righties getting too far deep, so they were able to sit in their comfort zone, and as you can see, we have 3 in our top 5 right now. So.
Yeah, and the important thing is when you consider today, you're only playing with 24 players versus 72, so there's only 2 per lane versus 3 per lane. So the breakdown totally different today, and that's one of the reasons they kept themselves in and with less difficulty as the games went on.
Right.
The righties, they need that time. They need for the shot to be set up.
And for those of you just joining us, we are in position round. After this match, we will determine our final 5 for the Stepladder finals. That'll be live here on NDBowlTV. If you're just joining us, please share the live stream on social media with everyone you know. Let them know about the show. If you are unable to watch the rest of the show, it'll be in our archive on YouTube. About 2 or 3 hours after the show is complete, it has time to upload. And we'd like to remind you as well that you can stay connected with ndbowling.com by liking our Facebook page, following us on Twitter, and subscribing to the YouTube page. And we'd also like to thank our main sponsor of Ebonite. They are the official bowling ball sponsor of NDBowlTV. And a quick reminder that you're watching NDBowlTV, the High Plains Bowling Network. I'm Darren Sini, joined by Mike Borowski once again in the booth, calling the action as we see it.
Get in here fast. She seems to be playing a little further outside than I watched her yesterday, so I'm not sure if that's just what's on that pair for her. And I'll tell you from experience, that pair she's on 19 and 20. 19 is definitely always tighter than 20. So just from being a local bowler and knowing no matter what condition you've got out on these lanes, some pairs are distinctly different from other pairs.
So again, we are in the position round portion of the 2017 Manitoba Open, the 36th annual. And after this, we will determine our top 5 for the Stepladder Finals. And currently, let's go through the scores once again. We have Wade Scott leading at 18:01, Andy Mills in second at 17:60, Matt Mcneel in third at 17:36, Zach Wilkins at 16:21 in fourth, Felicia Wong at 16:12 in fifth, Mitch Hoope in sixth at 16:05, and then all the way down to, I'm guessing, Sam Lanto, Jeremiah Smith in 13:14. They're only 15:60, 15:55, so they're all within 60 pins.
Yeah,
and
it can swing either way.
One thing interesting about this tournament is a lot of the other tournaments we bowl in the majors, the win gets you 30, here it gets you 20. It's a 20-10-0 system in their match play here, so keep that in mind. So for our top seed here, Andy Mills would have to win by 22 to gain that top spot. And right now it looks like Wade might be able to lock up that top spot, and then we'll have to look at our
He's not lighting it up, but he started with a 3-bagger, and I think that set him up pretty good. And I think he looks comfortable.
Again, I'm Darren Cini with NDBowling.com, and joined by Mike Borowski once again. We will get a word with a few bowlers here as we run through the show. And quickly, let's go through our payout, as the total prize money in the tournament was over $14,000 again. They're paying out $2,000 for first, $1,500 for second, $1,000 for third, $800 for fourth, and $720 for fifth. So making our show does get you a good chunk of change.
Yeah, considering the number of entries we had, and we thought it would be a little bit higher, but that's a pretty good payout for the 72 entries that we got.
And we do thank all the great sponsors of this event, and we'll mention some of them a little bit later in the show.
Yeah, a lot of thanks has to be given to the Nielsen family for continuing to run this Manitoba Open tournament. This is the 36th year. So the work they do, and they work very, very hard, folks, to get this underway and organized and controlled, and to make sure it comes off well.
All right, if anyone out there in the chat room wants to ask any questions, how your favorite bowler did on the qualifying round yesterday or how they're bowling today, we can fill you in on that. We will be here for the duration. A little bit earlier start today, as with 24 bowlers, we took 3 groups of 8, so there are only 8 match play games, and this is the 8th game in position round, so we will be underway on our Stepladder Finals here in probably 20 minutes. And then we'll get to know our final 5 bowlers as well.
I think Wade has locked it up. He's the last 3 strikes has kind of sewn it up.
Now, one thing to keep in mind, though, he's got the defending champion hot on his heels. So
yeah, that is for sure.
One thing about Wade is he has never won an NDBowling.com major, and we've got a couple major winners up here in the top 5, with Andy Mills has 2, and Matt Mcneel is a former CMA Memorial Shootout winner. So
yeah, Matt is a solid player, and I'll tell you, if he can get lined up on a pair, depending on what the match play is going to be, he can kill you.
Yeah.
He is so good.
And once again, we mentioned it earlier here in the show, as he's not as lined up on the 15-16 as he was on our featured pair in front of us. And to keep in mind, again, in our Stepladder Finals, we will alternate pairs. So we'll start first match here on 17 and 18. Second match will be on 15 and 16. and so on and so forth. We'll keep rotating on these two pairs. And Game 7, Matt Mcneel had a 250 on our featured pair, and he's pacing in the 2 teens right now. So
yeah, he's staying out of trouble, but he just can't quite get it going.
yeah, he's got 1 strike through 7 frames. So
unfortunately, opened the first frame, so the catch-up is he's got to go sheet. That's what he's got to do, just to make himself feel comfortable.
And looking over here, it looks like Mitch Hoope now has the first one in the 10th, and he's got 259 possible on the board, and put the 20 bonus pins, and that's gonna.
That might make the difference.
You got to think about Zach Wilkins over here. If he's got to win this match and then have enough to stay ahead of Mitch. He's also got to stay ahead of Felicia as well, because everyone's within 60 pins between 4th place and 14th. So
yeah, Mitch is the one that's got to make up the ground, though. So he's unfortunately he did not get the second hit in the 10th frame. So it's going to be really close.
So he'll have a 248 with the spare here and 268 with the bonus pins. As you can see here on our featured pair, Andy Mills has the 212. He should be able to stay in second, because I don't think Matt Mcneel will be able to catch him.
We'll see if he can get 15.
Yeah, it depends on the bonus here if Matt can win this match.
He's changed the ball. He's changed the ball. That's a much better roll. I think he had too much ball in his hand to start off on that pair. That's a much better ball. He's got to double up.
Well, one thing we do know for sure at this point is Wade Scott will be our top seed on the Stepladder finals, and that means he must be beaten twice in order for someone to beat him. And the way he's been bowling all week, he averaged 230 in the qualifying round, well over that today. It's going to be tough to beat him.
And shot a 300
and
in his qualifying round.
Yeah.
So, he's on his game. It's if he hasn't won before, it's not affected him, I don't think.
Yeah, he won I believe it was the King of the Hill up in Minot earlier this season, and that won him a paid entry into next weekend's CMA Memorial Shootout. So Wade's been bowling pretty well this year. He's from the Minot area, where we are from here at NDBowling.com, so very familiar with his game.
Yeah. This is always such I talk to so many people after our broadcasts, and how nice it is to have you people come up here and do this show for us. It's so wonderful, Darren.
I do appreciate that.
We used to do it for many years in the Open, but hadn't had it for a while, and since you guys have been coming up, it's really been stirring the juices up for the people that like to see this caliber of play.
Yeah, we've had quite a few people stop and talk to us while we were setting up the set here, and they mentioned how it's such a long drive for them to go home, and they want to see what happens, but they can't stay.
They can't stay.
So they start driving home, they hook up their phone or their tablet, and they start watching, and they get the sound going up in their car, and they can watch something on the drive home.
Which is good, and I know a couple of them. They got about 7.5 hours to drive.
Yeah, we got to go 4.5, 5 to get back home tonight. So
yeah, it's a long day for you guys, and that's one of the reasons they start fairly early on the start time of these tournaments, so that you guys can get on the road and not be home too late.
Yeah, there's some people here from Wisconsin, like Andy Mills, and those guys are from Wisconsin. A lot of Minneapolis bowlers. So.
Yeah, we had a couple players from Estevan here yesterday in the qualifying round. 7.5 hours for them.
Wow. All right, looking up here now, it looks like Matt Mcneel can strike out for the win.
Yeah, he's made a great ball change. He looks really lined up.
And now the key with this here is if Matt Mcneel were to get the win, I don't think he's going to have enough to catch Andy Mills.
Ooh.
And he didn't get the second hit, so he's going to lose that match.
Yeah, he needed that.
So that should sit him in third then. So it's going to be Wade Scott, Andy Mills, and Matt Mcneel are our top 3.
Yeah.
After that, we believe Mitch Hoope is going to get in there with his 240, because he'll jump over Felicia, and he will likely have will he have enough? Mitch Hoope with
he's going to be really close. It's going to be within a couple of pins.
Yeah, he'll have 68 with his win, so that's 73. Zach Wilkins has a 213 and plus 20 is 33. Yeah, so Mitch Hoope is ahead of Zach Wilkins as well. So we believe he'll get in there. Zach, we'll see if him or Felicia could hold on to the final spot, or if someone, all the way down to 14th.
Yeah, depending on what other games. We can't see all the other pairs here, so because we're spread out pretty much.
Well, this gives us a brief minute to remind everyone to stay connected with NDBowling.com on Facebook. You can like our page. We do actually have a cool contest we're going to announce sometime this week to win some good turbo gear. So please like our Facebook page so you can participate in that contest. You can follow us on Twitter and subscribe to our YouTube page where we have all of our NDBowlTV shows up in the archive.
Good effort.
We have NDBowlTV is sponsored by Ebonite, the official bowling ball of the High Plains Bowling Network. And again, I'm Darren Cini, joined by Mike Borowski. We are in between our position rounds and our stepladder finals. They will determine our final 5 here once they get finished bowling. We have one more match going on the low end of the house. And once that is completed, we'll let you know who our final 5 are and get to know them. So stay tuned.
We'll be back.
All right, how's everyone doing in the chat room out there? I see a few people had some sound issues. Kind of let me know how that's going. We have a new mixer today, so
jumped over Zach. You're right.
All right, so we have our final 5 determined here. We have Wade Scott is in the lead at 2046. In second is Andy Mills at 1972. In third, Matt Mcneel at 1937. In fourth, Mitch Hoope at 1873. And Zach Wilkins got our final spot at 1854. So that will round out our top 5.
That was a really tough final match for Felicia Wong. And knowing the pair that she was on, I will tell you that was a tough pair. Mitch lined up on it really fast, really good, and Felicia just never had a chance.
All right, so Mike, what's your overall thoughts on our top 5?
Well, you know, you got to look at some of the experience, and by that I'm talking about consider that Mitch and Zach are on the Canadian team and have been for several years. And Mitch and Zach have both made the youth team and the adult team in their process of trying to qualify at our team trials every year. So, and Matt Mcneel, well, enough being said. I mean,
right.
My gosh, he's one hell of a player. And Andy, past winner. Wade's
Defending
just
champion, yep.
showed him that he's coming to play.
Yeah, and he's going to be tough to beat twice. So
yeah, he will. But the rule is a valid one. It's a good one. In all fairness, that person who's and look at the number of pins of separation from him and the next person. I mean, he's earned that spot, and you have to beat him twice. You should beat him twice because sometimes you get on a pair in the final match, and it's not a good matchup for you. But the point is, you're going to get to play on 2 pairs, so that's going to make a difference.
okay, and again, our first match is going to be Zach Wilkins against Mitch Hoope. And that'll be up here in a minute on 17 and 18. They will probably get our two shots in each lane, and then we'll be underway. These have not been announced yet, so I suppose I'll have to announce those in the bowling center here before.
So all of you know before they do.
Yes, insider information here at NDBowlTV.
That's why we're here live, folks.
And if you haven't already, please share the live stream with everyone you know on social media. Spread the word as we are here at the season's first major for the NDBowling.com Major Championship Series. Next weekend, we will be live from North Hill Bowl in Minot for the CMA Memorial Shootout, where I believe we're in year 14 or 15, and we have yet to have a repeat winner there. We've had that many different winners in Minot, so we'll see if we can have a winner that has won there before, or another first-time winner. We will see.
Yeah, that tournament fills up pretty fast, eh? A very popular tournament. A lot of the players here from Winnipeg definitely make a point of going there.
Yeah, I think Jeff had close to 100, a little over 100 bowlers signed up already. If any of you out there are watching and have not signed up for that one yet, please contact Jeff Craig at North Hill Bowl to sign up. And I'm sure he would appreciate that before the weekend so he knows how many to expect. From what I've seen, the weather looks okay heading up there. We do have a lot of snow in Minot, but as long as the weather is okay, that shouldn't be an issue. It's supposed to be mid to upper 30s this week, so the road should clear up just nice.
That would be nice.
Kind of keep all that snow from blowing around again. I know when I drove up here to Winnipeg, it was quite a bit of snow blowing around, so couldn't see very far.
Yeah, we had quite a bit of high winds in the couple of days before the tournament, and the drive day was Friday, and the winds were really high and gusting to 90 k's.
Yeah,
so
we could hardly see on the way up here in a few spots, but we're pretty used to that in North Dakota this year. It's been a pretty brutal winter for us, so.
Yeah, and Winnipeg as well. There's no question about that. I'm just looking at the sheet here in the standings, the final standings after the conclusion of today's competition, and very, very unusual to see Michael Schmidt, a past winner, of this tournament more than once, by the way.
6 times.
6 times. And he's on the bottom. He's the 24th player. He had difficulty yesterday matching up, lining up, and he did a good job of making the cut because it was the latter games that got him in. There was no question about it, and he moved really deep into, between the 4th and the 5th arrow. And there was not enough breakdown here today for him to do that. There just weren't enough bowlers to break it down so he could get in there, and I think that's what the difficulty was.
Yeah, I even visited with Michael at the end of the block yesterday, and he said early on in the block he couldn't quite get out of his own way as far as with his arm swing goes, and then once he did get comfortable, he struggled to find a ball that could get him a good reaction to carry. And then once he did, he had enough to get into our match play portion. But yeah, today he struggled. I know we got in about 10 o'clock today to set up the set, and watching him, it was either 4-pin or 10-pin. It was a pretty struggle day for him. So
yeah, there are some other notable, very strong players there that were close, but just didn't have enough to finish it off. That's it. Because when you look at somebody like Felicia, for example, a Canadian team member for how many years, and one of our best women bowlers in the country. I mean, really, she only missed by 32 pins. So, I mean, and she in fact was in that 5th position going into that position round. So my point is that position round is so crucial, so critical, and the pair you end up on, you really have to follow the rules. And here's what we tell our players. You got 4 frames to line up. Do the best you can to line up. Quit blaming yourself. Get on the pair. Play it.
and they're currently announcing our final 5 here at the bowling center. Couple notable finishers to announce for you. There was, Doug Wagner in 21st place. We had Sam Lanto, USBC Hall of Famer, in 15th. Nick Heilman, who we've seen on our show quite a bit, in 14th. Chad Nelson, 13th. Dave Langer, 12th. Jacob Green, 11th. Thomas Wolf, 10th. Jeremiah Smith, in his first attempt here in Winnipeg, took 9th, so shout out to him. He was the bubble boy on day 1, and
yeah, very impressive actually. I watched him play a
top
lot
10 finish
yesterday.
Yep. Very solid bowler.
Yeah.
Brady Stearns, who was in 7th, and Mike, I don't want to butcher your last name, but congratulations on your 6th place finish.
Maybe he'll be listening to this and drop us a line and let us know how to phonetically say it correctly.
Yes, and his name is Mike, and it isn't the Mike everyone knows as Mike Schmidt, but it is Mike B, as we will call him here on NDBowlTV. Mike B, congratulations on your 6th place finish. And it looks like we'll be underway here. And now that we just, we talked about it earlier in the position round. The first match here will be on 17 and 18 between Mitch Hupe and Wilkins. The winner will get Matt Mcneel over on 15-16, where he was just in for position round. But if he wins that match, he gets to go over to his good lane here, which is on 17 and 18. So
absolutely.
Something to think about as this show progresses, and you're going to have the defending champion over here on 17 and 18 in the semifinals. So something to think about. That means our first championship match, Wade Scott will be on 15 and 16 as well. So he won't be bowling on where he bowled position round, so to speak. So
yeah. And the other interesting thing, because remember, they have played 8 games already on these pairs, right? And so now they're going to be playing some additional games in the match play, right? So what is important here is that they realize that it is still changing. It is still changing.
All right, so we have Zach Wilkins, who's in the brighter orange, throwing Motive.
Our no-thumber or two-handed right-handed bowler.
And then Mitch Hupe, who is also a local here in Canada. We're going to get some information from them shortly, I do believe, so we'll get to meet our players.
Mitch is no stranger to this. He's in the past years, particularly the last 5 years, he's got a lot of experience in playing these stepladder matches at the national team trials. So He's going to be fairly comfortable, I think. He's just working on what the pair is going to give him.
Okay, and again, if you're just joining us, the winner of this match will face Matt Mcneel on the pair to the left. Following that match will be our semifinal, where the defending champion Andy Mills is sitting in second, and top seed Wade Scott, who has been pretty difficult to beat all day. He has yet to lose a match today. He's won all 7, so if someone else is gonna win this tournament, they're gonna have to beat Wade Scott twice. And
yeah,
the way I've watched him bowl this week, he's even at a 300 today. That's gonna be very difficult for any of these challengers. So.
Yeah, these are two very strong right-handers. The unfortunate thing is it's not a right-hander against a left-hander. It's two right-handers playing in the same area. So from a challenge point of view, we're going to have change taking place while the game is going on by these two players.
Okay, and again, they each get 2 on each lane, and once they're completed with that, we'll get our match underway. We have a brief minute to thank a couple of our sponsors for this event, Canad Inns, Coca-Cola, South Beach Casino and Resort, and One Insurance. So thank you to some of them for contributing to this event and keeping it running very well. Very good prize fund of over $14,000 paid out today. So thank you to everyone who contributed to that.
And thank you again to the Nielsen family. And when I say that, I talk about John and Melody and Jennifer, just putting so much effort into this tournament all week long in preparing to get it going on Saturday and Sunday. And of course, it's a full-time job once the tournament starts, so they're here from early morning until late night.
And as always, they make us feel welcome as we walk through the door every January here. So we do appreciate the hospitality every year coming up to Chateau Lanes.
We've actually still got a fair amount of people that have stayed here, so that's very good. Yeah. It's nice to have a crowd in this final matches because it gets things ramped up a little bit. And Mitch, of course, has got some local support. There is no question he's got some rooters on his side here.
Yeah, and I honestly think whoever wins this match is going to have the crowd on their side. So
I agree.
So here we go. And we're underway.
It's pretty typical of lane 17. It tends to read up a little bit early. 18 normally is a little tighter, so depending on the area that they're playing in. Although I got to tell you, that one looked a little slow off Zach's hand.
I thought so too.
Yeah, just a little down in the speed, and it did not get down the lane the way he wanted it to.
Okay, on the spare. Always a difficult spare in this building with that sleeper back there.
It really is, especially when you consider this condition is flat. And even if you get left, if it hooks too much, you got no chance. Mm-hmm. And if you try and throw it straight, you're not going to get the back pin.
Right,
so
you have to have that angle in the back part of that.
Absolutely, you got to get the ball to face, right?
All right, now here's Mitch Hoope. First time on our show. A good first shot, and there you kind of hear the gathering behind us as he is kind of the crowd favorite right now.
It'll build. I'm sure it will. Mitch Hoope has one distinct advantage here. He can play right of Zach. He can play straighter because he's got so much ball speed. And now his release has been, he always used to be pure up the back, and now he's able to actually turn around the ball so he can get it down the lane.
Got that one a little wide, but got it.
Wow, he got it to come back. That was a good one. Sorry for the whispering, folks, but we're very close to the bowlers.
Yes.
So
we are actually probably about 20 feet from Zach right now. So, once they get on the approach, we'll try to be quiet for their sake.
Maybe we should turn the graphics up.
that was smooth.
Yeah, better shot there from Zach.
Yeah. That'll be his good lane. I'm going to make the call.
I'd say that's a good bet. Again, many of you out there have seen Zach on a few PBA events as he was the leader at the U.S. Open just a few months ago. They know him as a Maple Fish on tour.
Interesting nicknames. Much better ball.
See, and that one kind of floated on him down lane.
Yeah.
He got a little firm with it.
Yeah, because the last shot read up so early in the mid lane for him, so he just pushed it a little bit, and I think a little bit too much to the fronts.
So now, was that a case of reading what the lane was doing as opposed to him being a little slow on the first shot?
Yeah, I don't think he caught that, and I think that's exactly what he did, and that's why he gave it a push to the fronts.
So we'll have to watch what he does on that lane moving forward now.
I'll just tell you from experience, this left lane can be very tricky.
Okay, so a spare up there for Zach, and now Mitch looking to build his lead early in the match. We've seen a lot of those this week.
Wow, back row pins. Wow, that was so solid. In fact, that was almost a 7-9. That's how strong that ball was going through the pocket area.
And that's the thing, like, if you get the ball wide here at this house, it's more than likely going to pick up and go through and leave a 9 or a combination of the
exactly. The angle of entry is so great. And when you think of the rev rate that these guys throw, I mean, when it gets time to move, I mean, they can face the pocket so good anyway, right? They don't need any help. Oh, he was counting that one.
Yeah.
He was counting that one.
So solid on the spare. Has an early lead in our match. Again, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us. If you haven't already, share the live stream with everyone you know.
For those of you who don't know, Mitch Houpe is still a youth player, although he's on both the youth and the adult national teams. And he's been in Wichita, Kansas for the last 3 years.
Very nice.
So that is what has made him so good.
Ooh, tough break there.
He pushed that right again.
And to kind of piggyback on your comment there, I think we have 3 current or past Wichita bowlers in attendance today. Douglas Wagner is currently on that team. Matt Mcneel, a former player.
Yep.
And then Mitch. So a very strong program down there in Kansas.
Yeah, consistently for so many years, Mr. Vatican, Gord Vatican.
You say you always have to watch those in this house. There's pins bounce around quite a bit here at Chateau. So
yeah, he's gotta let that one go. He's showing some emotional expression here, and Mitch has just got to let that one go. Get a little inside, going through the angle he was playing there. Whether he squared up a little bit or not, I don't know, Darren, but he definitely did not keep the angle open to the projection he wanted.
yeah, and we'll have to see what he does here on 17. I'm really curious to see what the movie makes going over to 17 on this next frame. So
Yeah, he did not perhaps notice, as you say, the reduction in speed on the first shot, and he may have made the wrong correction.
and
Wow, so unusual for Zach. He is such a good spare shooter.
rare miss there. So the opening he did have now closed, and now it's an 8-pin match. So
Wow. As you say, this is going to be a very interesting shot. I have not seen him change his feet on the approach, so let's see what happens. He's definitely moved deeper.
And he gave that one a little more time, and now I think he's a little confused on that lane.
Yeah, for sure he doesn't want to send it right, and he doesn't want to square up on it. So I think he's trying to move a little deeper so that the angle keeps him in pocket.
Yeah, on the spare.
Good spare to be expected. Zach is a very, very good spare shooter.
And we've seen Zach on our show a couple times here.
Yep.
So very familiar with him here on NDBowlTV at the Manitoba Open.
Let's see if Mitch can start this all over again.
A little wide. Gets the bird dog. When you can throw lumber across the deck like that and carry, it's good feeling.
That was a pretty good scout there. It's odd. I don't know if it's the kickback patterns or the pins that we use.
Twister pins, yeah.
Yeah, the twister pins, but those wall shots off the wall just come out in front of that 10 pin. They never go at it. They always miss them in front.
Okay, Hoope up now in the 6th.
Better looking ball.
That's a really good shot there.
That was better. That was a really good one. He played that one the way he wanted. Well, Zach's going to have to answer this, because if he doesn't, Mitch is going to run.
Yeah, aside from that bad break for Mitch in the 4th, he's been pretty solid in this match.
Yeah.
Shot looks good.
Good line. He's in the right area of the lane now. I think he was a little too right on the first couple of shots, and he was a little more sensitive to missing right and or missing in. So he definitely's got some hold in there, because that was a hair inside from the shot that he was trying to shoot the frame before.
Yeah, and really, for him to get back in this match, he's going to have to figure out this left lane here. So
yeah, he will. He will. Yeah, he's definitely moving a little more left on it from his last shot. Oh, he's really gone deep. 5th arrow. Oh, my.
And
that's a great move.
And you saw that down lane, how his ball kind of floated to the back part of the head pin and still was able to shuffle him out. So
yeah.
And really, he's only got to throw one more shot on that lane. So if he can get through that shot, he'll be okay.
He must have done at least a 5-3 left on that left lane. That's how different that lane plays from over there. He was between the 4th and the 5th arrow on that shot.
Okay, 7th frame for Hoope.
That
Good
right
shot.
lane is getting a little tricky for Mitch. I think he might have to shift it a little bit left. I think it's just giving him the corner angle. It's just not quite right.
And I noticed yesterday how when I was bowling, if you got a few shots wide, your ball would kind of labor a little bit, come in behind the head pin, and you'd likely leave a 10. So
exactly, and I saw quite a few 7-10s. They're just behind the head, eh? Or even a 2-8-10.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he seems to have this left lane lined up pretty good.
Shot looks better. But that one started reading at about 30 feet on him. I think he missed a hair left. And
yeah, he did, and he's got no hold there, and that's one of the reasons why Zach moves so much left, so that he can get some hold.
See, and that shot for Mitch was kind of where most of the righties were playing most of the day, and he's been right of them. Yeah. So that shot missed left, and that's why I kind of jumped through the nose on him. So
yeah. He seems very confused by, the funny thing is, the previous shot in the left lane was so solid. I think he may have to move left as well. Maybe not as far left as Zach, but I think he might have to move a little left on both the lanes.
Well, let's see if Zach can take advantage of this opening. The last time he had one, he missed a spare. You don't see him really miss that often.
No,
so
exactly. He's definitely not playing the right lane as deep as he is the left lane. Oh, he did there. He tugged that one really bad.
Well, that still keeps him in decent shape, but again, a right side spare, and I know the last one was a 610 that he missed wide, so let's see if he can line this one up.
He just did not unload that off his hand soon enough. So for you two-handers out there, when the ball's going left, you're not unloading that wrist soon enough. You've got to unload it early so you can get it to go right.
Okay, on
spare.
The spare. So now depending on the count off this spare, Zach with a slight lead in the match. So this is a big shot for him. It's his last shot on lane 17, and it kind of sets the tone for the 10th frame. If he does spare this next shot, Mitch can get up and win the match. So a strike here can kind of guarantee, well, Zach can't get shut out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he needs to nail this one. He really does, because it'll give him some time to sit down and think about the next shot he's going to have to finish off the game.
So a big shot here in the match.
Wow. Left of fifth arrow.
Big shot for
that
Wilkins.
was through 26 at the arrow. Wow.
So now that means Zach cannot be shut out in this match. Mitch can go up and strike out for 208. But if he strikes out, that will force Zach to get the first one in the 10th. So
it could be tight either way. I just think he's too far right on this lane. Oh, Scout got it.
I thought it was going to go ahead of the 10 like you were saying on that
Yeah,
one.
on the front. It got it. It usually does, and it just goes by and around.
So now big 10th frame here for Mitch as he can put the pressure on Wilkins.
Yeah. This is actually, I believe this is Mitch's good lane, but I'm not sure that he tugged it in last time or just did not have the angle that he wanted. Well, he nailed it off his hand.
That one looked up, just like the last one.
Yeah. Remember we were talking about the changes, the little gradual, subtle changes? Well, that's exactly what's been happening here in this. So even though you took your warm-up shots and you think you're lined up, each frame it's changing a little bit and you got to get ready to move again.
Okay, on the spare, so he's got 188 left with a strike here.
Yeah.
Which means he's gonna need a lot of help.
Yeah, he really is.
Because if Zach spares out, he's in the 195. So.
Yeah, the only thing that could help Mitch here is if Zach opens. He's got to take 10, though. He's got to hope that the pin count is... He moved. That's what he needed to do. He moved.
Well, he's got a chance here. You know, any kind of open, and Mitch will win this. So Zach does have to mark here. Looks good.
Oh my.
Ooh, that was almost really bad.
That was almost terribly bad.
So now he's got to cover it.
Yeah, he's not going to miss this. He's too good a spare player. Especially the left side. He's right at it.
He's got to have this in 4 pins. for the victory.
Yeah. Yeah, he throws it pretty straight when he shoots those spares. As much as he hooks the ball, and as much as anybody hooks the ball, if you can shoot at your spare straight, especially if you don't have a pin behind the 2-pin or the 3-pin. If you don't have a back pin, go straight at it. That's the best way to make them.
And that'll do it. So
Yeah.
the winner of our first match is Zach Wilkins. Runner-up here. Well, not runner-up, but the bowler eliminated in this match is Mitch Hoope, and he'll take home $720 for his efforts. So a good weekend here at the Manitoba Open for him.
Yeah, and he has to head back home to Wichita with his friend Matt. They're going to drive back. They drove up.
All right, and up next is Zach Wilkins against Matt Mcneel. So we're going to take a minute here and rotate our cameras over, and we'll be right back. All right, again, our quarterfinal match is Matt Mcneel versus Zach Wilkins. You're watching the 36th annual Manitoba Open here on NDBowlTV. Let's get to know Matt a little bit. He's a national name out there. He's 31 out of Minneapolis, career high game 300, high series 879. Past Manitoba Open finishes, he was 5th in 2013 on this pattern. He was 5th in 2014 and 8th last year. He did not bowl in 2015. Again, all the accolades kind of stack up for the kid. He's got 4 USBC Open Eagles.
That's incredible.
So something anybody wishes to do in their career, let alone 3 years that he accomplished that. So
we have a few Canadians that have a single eagle in that tournament, and they're very proud of that. this guy's got 4.
There's actually a guy in the building that has 6.
Serious?
There's, I believe, Todd Savoy is somewhere in here, and he's got, I believe it's 6 eagles. So
Wow.
So there's a lot of accolades in this building, including the Mike Schmidt World Cups, the Eagle winners, and you name it.
A lot of talent. This tournament has drawn so many great players from so many different places. I'm watching Zach on his warm-ups here. He is not having an easy time of lining up this left lane.
And again, we talked about it in the position round. The match before the position round, Mcneel had 250 here on our first pair, 17 and 18. Moved over to 15, 16, kind of struggled to find a look. And I believe he shot 2-0, 2-teen. But he did play Zach Wilkins on this same pair, so it's kind of a rematch of the position round game that they had about a half hour ago.
Yeah, and it's interesting because Zach's last 2 games, Game 7, Game 8, were 2-0s. They were enough for him to win and get the win, but here we are. We don't have those 20 pins. You got to win to stay. He did not throw a single shot on the left lane in the warm-ups that got even close. He tried a different ball on one shot, and he was not even close. He's gone back to the ball that he came with from 17 and 18, but he's got nothing on that left lane.
Again, that's a tough spare in this building as well. So.
Yeah, and it takes a lot of guts to shoot it straight at it with a back pin like that.
Yeah,
when you've got a full bucket pouring the back pins up and you're going right at it, you got to be accurate.
So here's our first look at Matt Mcneel on NDBowlTV. Has made the stepladder here before, 2 times.
I don't know why, but he's not using the ball that he won with had on this pair on the last game. He's changed the ball. I'm not sure why he's done that, unless he thinks he found something.
Well, I guess if there's ever a spot to put that, the first frame is as good as any. So
yeah,
gives him time if he can kind of keep it together.
He's been talking to Matt the last couple of days, and he's really tough on himself. He demands so much of himself in what we call great balls off his hand, and sometimes he's just a little bit too hard on himself. Sometimes you just have to let it happen. I mean, he's too good a player to focus on that physical stuff. Too good a player.
Okay, and on the spare, so get the first couple frames out of the way.
Am I still here? I'm not sure if I pulled out. Yep. Not having any fun on this pair yet, but I think it's going to be just as tough for both of them by the looks of it, Darren.
Yeah, this appears to be the tougher of the 2 pairs we're bowling on here in the final. So
good spare. He still has nothing, and that means he really, really has to make an adjustment or change the ball.
taking a quick re-rack there on 15.
Yeah, there's some some pairs where the pins are just not quite aligned, and I wouldn't say they're really off a lot, but these are very high caliber players, and sometimes they can see a little bit of a shift in the lineup, and they're more comfortable re-racking it, see if they can get a better one. He's close now.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a grind of a match on this pair, and then going over to, what do we got, 17-18 over here. I think it's going to be
a little
more
bit
higher scores.
Yeah.
And again, our winner in this match will take on defending champion Andy Mills, which is no easy task. So
that is very true.
It'll be curious to see. What I'd like to watch is our next match will be over here on 17 and 18 against Andy Mills, and then the winner of that will face Wade Scott here on 15-16. It's going to be interesting to see how Wade, being a left-hander, how his matchup is on 15 and 16 compared to the other ones.
Yeah, especially since Matt has been struggling. Oh, he definitely made a move.
Looks like he paralleled it on the lane a little bit.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Maybe to get the ball to flatten out a little bit, to have a different angle on the head pin.
Yeah, because the last two shots he had, it just ran up too early, so. He's definitely got some hold right of him. There's nobody's been in there, so.
Good
Such
shot
a
there.
nice roll off his hand.
So it puts a good double on the board.
I'm surprised that Zach hasn't tried this one deeper in his warm-ups, as he ended up on 17 and 18. But maybe it doesn't look like it's playable there. Oh, he's gone in. He's gone in.
Shot.
He's made the move. Yeah, good move. That's where he has to be. He was just kind of caught in between.
Again, if you haven't already, please share our live stream with everyone you know on social media. We are in the quarterfinal match of the 36th annual Manitoba Open. Zach Wilkins against Matt Mcneel. Winner to face defending champion Andy Mills.
He's definitely in the right place now. That's a good move.
Very good shots.
Great shift. Absolutely great move.
And now you look at the scoreboard, it just shows the caliber of bowlers in here. They each took two frames to figure it out.
Exactly.
And now it's time to deal. It's time to
Yeah,
kick it up a
the
notch.
general rule is accept the fact that it may take you 4 frames, but if you get it done and you find out in 2 frames, wow, great, you're on your way.
Okay, 5th frame for Mcneel. Another good
Oh,
shot.
he looks pretty confident. I'll bet you he says he didn't really like that off his hand. He is so critical, but it was right down the line he wanted to play. And he has such a real early positive roll off his hand.
Mm-hmm. And something to consider here is 3 of our final 4 are all throwing Brunswick pieces of equipment. So
Yeah. Might want to have a look.
didn't like it, but
He didn't like that one. He knew it off his hand. He didn't miss it by much, though. Timing can be so critical. It's a lot of times when I'm coaching my players, I talk to them more about cadence than trying to think about mechanical things, because it's the rhythm. You have a sense of timing. It's in you.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if you're as good a player as Matt, it's there, so you just have to find it. So try and find the cadence that you need. We call it tempo. Whoops. Wow, he didn't like that one. He did not unload very well there.
Yeah,
He
that-
was way out onto
That
the
had
line.
a completely different roll on it as
Yeah.
well, going down the lane.
And especially no summers, they're almost notoriously, they're up the back, smooth, early, right? He just got caught in it.
Yeah,
and
that one was over the top a little bit.
yeah, it almost looked like he got a two-handed release there.
Mhm.
That's
That one's
better.
yep.
Yeah. Oh, and off the wall. We don't get many of them here, folks. That's a good one.
Zach Wilkins throwing lumber at the Manitoba Open. And wasting no time. McNeel up now in the 7th.
Good roll. Oh. He may have to shift a little more. Both lanes have come up high on him. I didn't think they were that bad off his hand. I just think he's lost a little bit of the hold. That's a stronger ball he's bowling with.
Yeah, the hold doesn't fully develop on the left like it does on the right throughout the day.
Right, absolutely.
And again, I don't know if it was a little bit of a bad luck that his match ended up on the lane that he was, or the pair he wasn't comfortable with, but
Yeah, exactly.
it's the luck of the draw sometimes in this game.
No question. Ooh, my. He definitely looked like he moved on that one. That was almost a 5-7-10. See, one of the advantages of that forward roll is you get the nice even pickup in the shape, right? But that's what happens when it's too even going into the pocket, too much end over end. You need to get the ball to face the pocket a little bit so that angle and that side turn will get you that 5-pin.
Now Wilkins with the opportunity to shut this one out.
Let's see if he gets a little smoother release on this one compared to his last frame here. Oh, that was a good one. Oh, my.
Little firm, though. Little firm off the bottom.
He definitely pushed it. There's no question.
Reminds me of the one shot he threw over here on 17, the second time he threw him.
Exactly.
That one looked very familiar, and you see him pointing over there like,
Yeah.
did the same thing. So.
Yeah. And there may be a spot in that area that he knows he's kind of trying to avoid too, right? So sometimes you forget about it and you just push it and it ain't coming back.
That is something
Good
to keep in mind on this surface as well. That is, if you do get firm at the bottom, the chance of the ball facing up in the right way that you need it to carry probably isn't going to happen. So you got to stay slow and you got to let the ball work in this house.
Yeah, you do have to let it run. That was a real nice ball. Oh, my.
Again, throwing lumber.
That was nowhere
Lane
near
15.
behind the head pin, and he almost left a 7-10. He carries them both. Wow.
No, wasting no time.
Oh, he's swinging that one. Oh, I think he's a little dejected. And
I think he's throwing the towel in on this one.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, he still had 2:11 left, so.
Yeah, anything can happen, right? Yeah, he's a little disappointed in the way he's throwing the ball, and that's all that is.
Yeah, well, in our past years, Zach hasn't fared the greatest here on NDBowlTV, but he's making up for it this year.
Yeah, it's a good point. In fact, last year I think Mike Schmidt beat him in the steps, right?
You know, we've done a few of these. They're all
Yeah, I know. It may have been the year before. You're right.
Yeah. Actually, last year, Darren Hansen kind of ran through the ladder and got to Mills, and then Mills beat him.
Yeah.
That's right. So it was the year before that.
Yeah, I think it was the year before. Yeah.
So Mcneel finishes out with a 200 here. And so it's just a victory lap here for Wilkins. And he will advance to face our defending champion. It's a good shot there. Well, this match...
Pretty good matchup if Zach gets through 17 and 18 and has to come back there. He knows exactly where he's got to go.
And then, interesting enough, our left-hander again on that pair to the left.
Absolutely. Has struggled.
But the advantage that Wade does have is he has to be beaten twice, so he'll get a chance to come back to 17 and 18 if he does lose.
That's true.
As you see, Zach is kind of throwing a couple different pieces to get an idea of the reaction.
He just wants to know if there's anything else left out there that he might have to consider if he comes back.
All right, so once again, we're going to do a little adjusting of our cameras, and we'll be right back with our semifinal match, Zach Wilkins against defending champion Andy Mills. And for his efforts, Matt will take home cool $800 for fourth. That is his best finish here at the Manitoba Open, so good week for him. And again, the winner of the next match will take on top seed Wade Scott. So stay tuned. If you haven't already, please share the live stream with everyone you know on social media.
Hello. That's it.
All right, and now we can get to know Zach Wilkins a little late, but career high game of 300 and just puts a lot of them. High series of 868. He's finished third, and fifth. So with the win in this match, he'll have his highest finish here. Previous tournament wins, PABCON trios, all event gold medalists, and silver in teams, so very impressive there. He likes to golf, painting, and baseball, so that is Zach Wilkins, also known as Maple Fish to the Team Fish guys on the PBA Tour. And we'd like to take a quick minute to also thank some of our sponsors here, Instabox, Silkscreen Industries, Airwise Incorporated, Oakley Alarms, Abby's Garage Doors, Davdar Industries, and Penner International. So again, thank you to all the great sponsors who help make this tournament possible. Again, it is Zach Wilkins versus Andy Mills, our defending champion. Remember last year, Andy Mills did win this event over Darren Hansen and followed it up with a victory at the CMA Memorial Shootout in Minot the very next week. So looking to repeat history here.
Yeah, I think the one advantage that Zach might have is because he's been on this pair, and Andy has not been on this pair. Playing the same line, not quite as deep as he was. That's the better ball. Zach is going back and forth between the two bowling balls, trying to line up the pair on his practice. I think he's back to the one that he played with when he left this pair one game ago. And he's using a lot of surface, so I don't think it's going to affect Zach because Zach is way left of him. But he's definitely got a much duller surface than Zach has. Thank you.
All right, so we'll be underway here in our semifinal match of the 2017 Manitoba Open. Andy Mills will begin on the left lane.
Wow, he moved in a little further left than he practiced. Nice smooth release. Great ball.
And sometimes those half-pocket hits are better here in this building.
I agree. You get a better chance to rattle them. It just seems like the back row comes up if you don't, right? Like if you pack them in too tight, you've got the back row. Something. Like it's either an 8-pin or a 9-pin or a 7-9. Or
right, and with the way the pin action is in this house, it's almost better to send the pins going and see what happens.
just splash them around a little bit. Should remember that, folks out there. Sometimes you got to hit the pocket a certain way to get the carry you want. Maybe it's not moving as much as you think. Yeah, he's definitely gone with the ball that he played with on 15 and 16. He did not use that ball on the previous game on this pair, Darren.
And now we're starting to see when you get one of those bowlers that can get through those first two matches, gets to the second seed and the first seed, they're comfortable now.
Exactly. You know? They got a little bit of a flow going and rhythm. Yeah, Andy has definitely moved way inside of his practice.
Inside was surface, and
yeah,
it worked well for him last year. It really did.
It did, yeah, it did. He rolls the ball really nice. His approach is a little bit unorthodox because he hangs onto the ball for quite a few steps before he gets it in motion, but it gives him a lot of delay, and I'm one of those coaches that teach delay, and I like delay because it means you're solid at the line.
And I feel like for him it's more of a timing thing. Like everything, he does the same thing every time, so make sure that his arm swing is in time.
Yeah, he truly is rhythm. There's no question. The tempo that he has, that rhythm, it's always, you don't see that many people bounce up and down while they're walking, but it's just a tempo for him, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen two bowlers the same anywhere in the world, Darren.
It's the beauty of bowling, isn't it?
That is the beauty of our sport. So don't try and be someone you're not.
Yep. It's not always about how, it's about how many.
Yeah. Find a way to repeat the shots. That's what you want. And then you can trust that you can make a move because it's not you.
So now Wilkins up here in the third.
It's interesting how two-handers have such an open stance because they have to be a little sideways with their swing. Oh my, he ripped that one.
Saw a lot of those this week.
Oh. You played. I didn't get a chance to because I wasn't ready to play this tournament. I was not practicing as much as I could have or should have. But how did you do?
I finished minus 12, so I was about even. I missed the cut by about 60.
Wow, you were close.
Yeah, it came down to, a little bit of carry. There's a couple games where I was Dutch through, and without the couple big games, it's hard to make up.
Trying to get both lanes, yeah.
But yeah, it was enjoyable. I found the pattern to be, a little demanding during the transition, but once they opened up on the right side later in the day, scores started going up.
Yeah, you could shift a little more left and open it up a bit. Yeah. Otherwise, you had to be a little straight and very, very accurate.
Yes, early in the block, you had to be accurate to score. So.
Yeah. Well, he hasn't missed a pocket. So they're both on the same line here. Ooh,
Did you see that one kind of squirt down lane?
Absolutely.
It got to about 40 feet, and it went another 5 feet down lane, and then it started to set up for him. So.
The deeper Zach can go, the better he plays. It fits his two-handed release because he's a little sideways and it lets him open up without fear. But he's caught in between here a little bit. He changed the ball, so oh my.
And I guess that's the risk you take when you go straight like that.
Absolutely.
And I even do that because I throw at it with a little bit of more of an angle, but even yesterday I left the 5 standing there on that.
Right.
So.
That's not an easy spare sometimes. The angle is actually critical.
Especially on a tougher pattern like this where you don't know how the middle of the lane is playing.
Yeah.
So opportunity time for Mills.
Yeah, he will probably take advantage of it. He's been here before. He knows the last shot he had on the left lane was a bad one, so he's just going to make it good.
I will remind everyone between Andy Mills and Nick Heilman, both from La Crosse, Wisconsin, they have won 3 of the last 4 NDBowling.com major championships. So they've kind of dominated this series for the last year.
Yeah, they really have. That looks like a good line.
It's a very good shot.
Really good shot. He looks very comfortable there, and he looks very comfortable.
Yeah, we mentioned that in our article we wrote in the preview of this tournament that he does enjoy bowling on NDBowlTV, and it seems like his scores do go up.
Yeah. He's it's interesting. He's not concerned about who he's playing. He's just playing his game, right?
Yep.
Zach has got to get this going. It's a good roll off his hand. A little wide. Oh, he got away with it. I'm just very surprised that he hasn't gone back to the deep line that he played on this game with the other ball, because he finished off the match so strong against Mitch. But he changed the ball when he was on 15 and 16 and decided he would try it on this pair, but I think it's a little bit over-under. If he gets it pushed a little right, he doesn't get it back. And he is a motive guy. So if you haven't noticed the bowling balls and his shirt,
yep,
he is definitely a motive guy. That's a better ball.
Wow, it's that left lane on this pair that.
Yeah, we talked about lane 17 before. I just think on 17 he can't afford to be with that ball. I think he has to go to the other ball. I don't know why he made the change. He's got a reason. He must have saw something in his warm-ups. He's making it tough on himself, though.
Yeah,
good spare. Good spare. You know, we talk a lot about how good these bowlers are, but I'd like to encourage a lot of those bowlers on the edge. Come out to this tournament. Give yourself a chance to gain the experience and see these players, because you learn so much from them about how they play and where they play and the strategies they use and the kind of equipment they play with. So
plus, I've always told a lot of people, too, that the way the lanes break down in a tournament with this caliber of player compared to like a handicap tournament is completely different.
Totally different.
So it's really good experience to come out to one of these and give it a shot once.
Yeah, you have to do it, and it's the only way to get your feet wet. You have to get out and do the battle, and you have to learn from it. So, and when you think about how much money you can spend on a lot of things, coming to this tournament is relatively inexpensive.
Okay, Mills up in the 7th.
Another good-looking ball.
Oh,
tad high. Just a tad high. That left lane is definitely starting to read up a little early, and that's what happened to him.
And while we have a brief minute, I also would like to encourage everyone to visit ndbowling.com, the upcoming events page, as we have several tournaments out there for every style of bowler, handicap, scratch bowlers, so check it out. Mills on
Does
the
he
spare.
ever miss any spares, Andy?
Well, I remember us talking about it last year, how in qualifying he kind of gave me a hard time because I missed quite a few. And I've been waiting for him to miss one on NDBowlTV, and he doesn't do it. So
I haven't seen him miss one.
A very good spare shooter. So
when you consider that what the pressure should be in this stepladder, he seems to be not concerned about it. Good ball.
Very good shot
ball.
there
He
for
was very
Zach.
focused on that one.
It looked like he really came through the ball on
Yeah.
that one, and
Yeah.
the ball reaction down lane kind of showed that.
Yeah. If you saw him when he just finished that shot, he came in front of the ball return and he just pointed to this lane. He knows this left lane
Yep.
is the one he's got
It's
to
been
get.
problems for him all day.
Yeah, absolutely. So Wade's in the wings, just waiting. Who am I going to play?
Yeah, we'll get to know Wade here in our next match. Up now here in the 8th is Wilkins. He's got to have this one.
Oh, he's moved deeper on the pair, on the lane.
Very
That's
good shot.
the better move.
Very good shot when you need it. Like,
Yeah,
he had to have
do
that double.
He had to have that. Great shot.
And now it makes you wonder if Andy knew that was his troubled lane, because Andy chose to start the match on the left,
Interesting.
making Zach finish on the left lane.
Exactly.
So something to think about there.
Yeah, he might have been watching, when that last match was going on between him and Mitch. That's a little wide. Ooh. With that ball almost rolled out so much that it almost left the 5-7 for him. He got a little wide on it, and it's a very strong, he's got a strong surface on it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, just a little wide, and it read up a little too much, too fast.
Throwing a Brunswick Ultimate Nirvana.
Yeah. It's a pretty strong ball.
Well, we didn't put the jinx on him. He can still make his spares.
No.
I always worry about that.
Yeah, isn't that funny? Yeah, you say it, and you say, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
maybe I shouldn't have said anything.
A couple weeks ago on our show at the 10-game marathon, someone I think had front 7. We mentioned something, and they big forward. So,
Oh, gee. Yeah.
so I tend to not mention those things.
Especially on live TV. Oh, that's a good
Foundation
ball.
frame.
That's a good ball. Oh my gosh, that was a week 10.
See, and I feel like that's the risk you take playing with surface.
Yes.
Like if you don't get
especially
the right,
inside.
if you don't get the right read off the end of the pattern, you're gonna like the last frame with the 5-7 possibility, or else a flat 10 in there. So
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Darren, because you need to be able to face the ball from that angle a little bit. If you don't, man, you're in trouble. That was definitely a week 10.
well, here's the opportunity for Wilkins now.
Yeah, he can jump on it. I think the right lane is actually Zach's good lane. So, and now he has solved the left lane, it seems, because he's made a great move left on it. So,
Now, if you look at our scores here, Mike, I don't know if you caught that, but we have a possibility of a tie.
yeah.
So
Yeah, it's
if both players strike
the pin
out,
count is really close. You're right.
both players strike out, we got 235 apiece. So
Yeah. Well, Zach's got to finish it up, so he's got 2 in a row. This hit is all important because Andy doesn't have a strike up on the 9th.
gotta have it.
Light again. Little push right. That's so delicate. The roll on the last shot on the right lane was so pure, right? That one was kind of like a little bit of a twist on it. And it just sent him down another foot and just made the difference.
Yeah, he's such a solid player that you can tell the angle of rotation off his hand.
Yeah. Oh, that was smooth. That
Sometimes
was what he
he's
wanted.
more at like 4 or
Yeah.
5 o'clock, and sometimes he comes around at like 3, you know.
And you know that is really odd because most no-thumbers are right up the back. They're like pure, if anything, 530, the farthest, right?
Mhm.
In fact, when I work with young players that are doing no-thumber, I'm trying to get them to learn how to get around it as they're unloading. So it's the most difficult thing to do, but he can do it. He does it too much sometimes. Good looking shot.
Ooh, he thought he was going to get the kick on the 9 there from the one pin leaving the
yeah,
deck.
it looked
but
like it might too. Oh, my.
So with a spare up, he's got a 203 possibility. And
This is all Andy's. It's in his hands.
Looks like our defending champion is going to play for the title once again. This time it's going to be a little tougher, though.
Yeah.
As he was our top seed last year. This year he's going to have to defeat our top seed twice. So
That's right. Yeah. And he's going to have to do it on 2 different pairs. So
it'd be interesting to see what the left-hander does on that 15-16.
yeah, it really is. I don't know. I don't think Wade is as affected because he's so straight and has such great speed. Right?
Great round of applause there for the local, Zach Wilkins, finishing in third. Kind of ties his high finish here at this event.
He's actually from Ontario, but
Ontario?
we like to think that he's a local. He's one of our friends.
Well, he gets cheered on like a local here anyway.
Yeah, he does. He does, yeah. He has a lot of friends here. Yeah, he's not only been here a few times, a lot of the people have met him at the national team trial tournaments. So, and he's a character. Zach is a character.
Well, while we have a minute and Andy finishes up his match here, we'd like to remind you that you can follow us on Twitter, like our Facebook page, as we will have a contest to give away some cool items from Turbo 2-in-1 grips as an official sponsor of NDBowling.com, and you can subscribe to our YouTube page, as all of our shows are in the archive as long as NDBowling.com is in operation. We'd also like to thank our partners at Ebonite, the official bowling ball sponsor of NDBowlTV. Again, you're watching NDBowlTV, the High Plains Bowling Network. I'm Darren Sweeney with NDBowling.com, joined again by Mike Borowski for our 3rd consecutive year here at the Manitoba Open. So I do appreciate you joining me.
Absolutely my pleasure doing this show with you, Darren. It's a lot of fun, and it's really, really competitive bowling.
Yeah, it's always a good time here. The pattern, it always plays tough on the second day, especially on our TV shows. And we'll see if we can have a repeat winner here. Wade Scott coming in. We'll get to know him here in a minute. He'll get 2 shots on each lane. Again, he must be
tough one, Zach. Good
must
bowl.
be defeated twice.
Well, I'm not sure how long Wade was warming up, but I thought he'd be throwing a few more balls while he was waiting to come up to play, but he hasn't been doing that, so it'll be interesting to see what 2 shots on each lane are going to give him for a warm-up. But he does know he's got 2 games, so maybe that's part of his strategy.
All right, well, let's get to know Wade Scott. He's out of Minot, North Dakota, age 49, career high game 300, high series of 817. He may not have the national recognition like some of our bowlers on our show, but regionally, this guy's a force to be reckoned with. I can tell you that because I bowled with this guy for several years. His best Manitoba Open finish was 20th last year. This is his 2nd year bowling the event. He is a 3-time King of the Hill champion out of Minot, state scratch doubles winner in 2014, and he is the current state scratch records all-event holder in North Dakota at 2269. That's a big score for 9 games.
Pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive. Well, he definitely has game. There's no question. And I think what he probably learned by coming to the Manitoba Open last year, even though he just finished 20th, is he learned how to play on these different shots, and he brought some different equipment with him for sure. So, and that's usually what happens is you need the experience to find out what it is you need to prepare yourself for to win. So that's part of it, and I think he's certainly adapted very quickly when you consider that it is only his 2nd year.
And Wade is married to wife Tammy for 27 years, does have a daughter named Courtney. So,
and I know she's watching right now.
I'm sure his wife and daughter are watching, yes.
Exactly, because Wade wanted to ask me if the internet was working.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can tell you one thing. There's a lot of folks from back home in Minot where NDBowlTV is stationed.
Yeah.
They're all watching, and so I do appreciate all of you guys watching, and please share the stream with everyone you know on social media.
I think they're very fortunate to have you doing this stuff. It's so important to keep the bowling community and the family connected to all of what is involved with our sport. So it's not just great all over the world. It's got to be great in your community too, and that's why it's really important what you're doing.
Well, I do appreciate that, and I would like to remind everyone that we will have a full recap of this event on Monday. So check back to NDBowling.com for a recap of the Manitoba Open. We will also preview the season's second major at the CMA Memorial Shootout in Minot. We'll have a preview for that on Tuesday or Wednesday. So stay tuned for that. We'll see you all again on Sunday live from the CMA Memorial Shootout in Minot. So once we are completed today, please mark your calendars for our next show on Sunday next week. So some exciting bowling. Our third show next week in 4 weeks. So a busy month here for NDBowling.com.
Keeps you busy, eh?
Yeah.
Do you try to bowl in all of these tournaments?
I do.
Oh, good for you.
Because I've always felt like the best way to explain and tell a story on NDBowling.com or here on NDBowlTV is to bowl the event. Kind of, you talk to the players. It's easier to see what works for the other players. And
yeah, and you obviously played the games on the different pairs and understand what some of the difficulties were, and it gives you some insight, right? Which is really good, because then you start to begin to understand the struggles they're having on the TV pair.
Absolutely. So again, our defending champion Andy Mills against Wade Scott. This is the first game. If Wade loses this match, we'll bowl another one on 17 and 18. If Wade wins the first game, it is all over. It is his title and his very first NDBowling.com major. So a lot at stake here today, including a top prize of appears to be $2,000, $1,500 for second. So we're playing for some good money here.
That's some pretty good money. There's no question about that. In watching Wade in the warm-ups and watching Andy, both of them, Andy particularly, is using a lot of surface, and I'm seeing a lot of rollout on this pair compared to 17 and 18. So I don't know if he touched up the surface or if it's just the pair is a whole lot drier, because he's in rollout, reaching the pocket right now. And
an interesting note, too, I believe both bowlers are throwing the same ball. The
they
ultimate
are. This
Nirvana out of Brunswick.
Yeah,
so
I think you're right. But Wade has a lot more ball speed.
All right, so we're underway here in our championship match. Andy Mills up in the first.
Yeah, that's a lot of rollout, boy. He's setting up high now. He's just reading a little bit early. He might be able to get a little deeper. He's certainly not uncomfortable. We've seen him pretty deep, so.
And I do believe, like, being the tournament leader in this particular tournament kind of lets you relax that first game. And usually when you relax a little bit, you're likely to throw a better game.
Yeah.
So the advantage in this first game, you always know you have another one if you lose it.
Yeah. So you got time on your side, and you really don't need to put any pressure on yourself to get it done. So
I think that'll help Wade relax here.
Yeah. A lot of loft. Wow.
And we've seen a lot of that this week from Wade. So
yeah, he really gets it out there.
One thing I've noticed over the years bowling with Wade is if you get a pattern where he gets comfortable, nobody can repeat shots like Wade. He can throw up scores like crazy, and as shown by the all events record in North Dakota. So, when it comes to scoring, I would take Wade over a lot of people.
He certainly is consistent, and if you look at the scoring he had all day yesterday and today, my gosh, those are pretty big numbers. Now that was definitely a little more up the back and definitely rolled out on him in setting up in the pocket, so that's why he lost the corner, I think. Well, let's see what Andy's going to do. I think he's going to have to shift a little bit left from what I'm seeing, but let's see if he does. He's definitely left. That is just fifth arrow.
And you could see when that ball got to the end of the pattern, the way it rolled
Absolutely.
And
yeah,
if
he had something left on it.
If he were to get that a little wide and it rolled out, you're probably going to have a flat 10.
Yeah, I agree. Or even a late 5.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what we'll have to watch. It's like using the ball he's using. He's got to get it to a certain point at the end of the pattern for it to work. So
he cannot get outside early, or he'll lose it all.
See, and that one got a hair wide.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened there. Just a little bit wide. He was way inside on this right lane. I'm not sure if his feet are exactly in the same spot for both lanes. It looked like he might have been a little more right on this left lane. We'll see what happens through the course of the match. Absolutely flawless spare shooter.
100% on NDBowlTV, as far as I know.
Amazing. That's a good record to have.
That is.
It really is. Good loft and twist. Yeah. I think that's what he missed on that last shot on the left lane. He just did not get around it enough, and that's why it rolled out on him. That was a pretty good ball, but that was strong. That was a strong 7. He's the only one on the left side that I've seen play as far outside as he is playing. The only right-hander that played outside 5 was Lynn Gauthier. And she killed it for the first 5 or 6 games yesterday. And unfortunately, once it left, she had to get so deep. It was such a big change because everybody ate everything up left of her.
Yep.
And it took a little while for her to even get back on track with it.
And I feel like the loft that Wade uses helps him play where he is.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. He stores a lot of energy. That was a good twist that time. He may have helped it a bit.
Yeah, I think that was kind of, let's try to get the 7 out.
Yeah, yeah, he may have helped it a little bit with his arm on that one. He was definitely not as far outside as he was on the previous shots. This is a tough one, but it's very makeable, especially with this caliber of player. Oh, so close.
All right, so an open there for Wade.
Yeah, let's see if Andy can jump on this.
And again, for those of you just joining us, Wade Scott must be defeated twice. So an Andy Mills win here will do a winner-take-all on 17 and 18.
Oh my, there's what we were talking about. That was a flush rollout shot, and he almost left the 5 with that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fortunate enough to get the 10 pin to kick out. So
very lucky. I thought for sure he had a 7-10 there. You normally don't see that unless you get behind the head pin a little bit and a little late, eh? Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
And I think that might have been the NDBowlTV jinx we were talking about.
Yeah. He opened up a little bit on that one. You know what? I think he was a little frustrated with the first shot result.
Yeah, he let that one go early.
Way too early. He was open. He normally is so angled toward that spare.
Well, I do apologize on that one for the booth jinx, but up now in the 5th, trying to rebound. So yeah, it seemed like he had a more side turn on that one. Get the ball to read up a little
and he
different.
needs it. He needs it, especially because of the surface and the strength of that ball. That's actually a very good idea.
And you can tell sometimes he stays up the back of the ball, and that's where he leaves the 7 or the 10 combination.
Absolutely.
So.
And they're weak 10s when he leaves them. Good looking ball. Oh, corner. Wow.
Yeah, I think Wade's going to have to make a small move here, whether it's going to be forward or back on the approach to kind of get more of the head pin. or to swish them out a little bit more, or else the ball changed. So,
as a coach, and I know players do this very successfully. As a coach, I don't like to move up or back on the approach because it changes timing, and when it changes timing, it can change other things. So I don't normally recommend it, but I know some players that are comfortable with it and they don't have a problem with it. But you have to understand, when you take your feet in and you give yourself more space, the right brain has to calculate, and usually does, and changes the width of the steps. So that means it changes timing. So it's nothing that I normally would recommend, and I know some coaches that swear by it. So everybody's an individual in their opinion on that.
All right, we'll see what kind of move Wade makes here. Looks like he...
This left lane is really giving him more trouble. This right lane, he's nailing it, but he's not carrying the corner. But this left lane, he doesn't know if he's going to come up light or come up high.
Yeah, and he's got a finish over there.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what we said about this pair and the left-hander, right? It just does not quite match up for them. He's really deep on that one.
See, you could tell he caught that one at the bottom.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Caught that one at the bottom.
Yeah, and you could see the side rotation on it off his hand.
Yeah, the colors of that ball, the white
the stripes,
with the deep red and blue, you can tell how he rotates it off his hand.
Absolutely.
That one was much more along the side.
Yeah. So I suppose he didn't know enough about that left or this pair, or he could have maybe changed the surface, but sometimes you don't want to because you know how it's behaving.
Yeah, he hit that one too.
Yeah.
But that left lane.
Yeah, it is brutal. That lane 15 is brutal. And it's just subtle. It's not... And the deeper he gets, the more he affects what Wade has to try and do on that lane. All right, good spare.
All right, now Wade's got an opportunity here to put a double on the board and take control of the match.
He could take control and end it.
Really good shot by Wade.
That was a really good ball.
That one got more of the head pin early,
yeah,
and it carried the 7 out. So
yeah,
now this
seemed
is
to
big
have
shot.
a little more roll on that one rather than the extra side on it.
All right,
he's got a lot of ball speed though.
The last shot he threw on this lane, he tripped out the 6. So we'll see what kind of, maybe he made too much of a move and he can kind of settle in here.
He may come back. Yeah, he definitely has to make a little adjustment. This left lane has been really challenging. That's a good-looking ball.
He likes it.
Oh, yeah,
Great shot
that was
by
a
Wade.
really good-looking ball. Yeah, he got that one out there. I think that Andy might be in a little bit of trouble here. Well, they both have one open, so it's just a matter of getting the strikes on the board for Andy. Way inside. Oh, see, that 10 just barely gets caught, because of the roll, the forward rollout.
And the good thing for Mills is he's lined up on 16.
Yeah.
This is the big shot for him.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, he's fairly confident with the right-hand lane. It's this left lane he's not sure of.
So this is a big shot in this match. He's still got 227 left, so.
He does. Hold it. Oh my, he packed it in.
Knew he needed that shot, so.
Yeah.
Well, this is kind of what you dream of. If you're a bowler out there, you want to win a major.
Yeah.
Wade has the opportunity to step up now in the 9th and 10th, close this match out, and not even go to a game 2.
Yeah.
So.
And I'll say this for Wade. The fact that he finished 20th last year and he's about to have the opportunity to win this tournament, that's amazing.
In his second chance, yep. Up in the 9th.
That's got to hurry.
Hook.
Oh. He might have missed that one a little bit.
Yeah, it looked like he kind of a little more of a spin up the side like he normally does. So, well, 213 left on the board for Wade, 227 left for Andy. So we could be heading to a winner-take-all match.
We could.
So we'll see what happens here.
It's a tough spare. Good. They're all right when they're singles, but when they're multiples, it's always a little more of a challenge.
And for those of you who can't see, that is a 213 left for Wade. If he strikes out here, the blue colors are a little bright on our cameras. So
yeah, they're a little tough to read the white on them, yeah.
And he
off
got
the
a break
wall.
off the wall.
Wow. Well, he definitely needs to finish it strong because Andy's got it in his hands, so to speak.
And Andy's on his good lane on the right.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
lane 16, so.
However, that right lane, he's been leaving that 10 pin has been really weak falling.
Mm-hmm. Big shot here.
He has to nail it. That's wide. That's way wide.
Well, he'll have 203 with the spare, so Andy will still have to perform in the 10th anyways.
Yeah, he will. Yeah, he needed them all to have a chance. But it's basically up to Andy.
Yeah, a spare will win it. Spare 6.
His routine is so consistent. Oh my.
Uh-oh.
Oh my.
A 4-9 for Andy Mills.
Just a tad too
And
high on that one.
He's got to pick it.
Yeah, he's got to make it or he's done.
Count. Pick it and an 8 will tie. Pick it and a 9 to win.
Wow.
So here it is, folks. He's got to have it.
Well, we've been saying how good a spare shooter he is. You know what? We're about to find out.
Well, he's got to have it. He's going to give him a run.
No.
Well, that's going to do
enough
it.
Angle.
And our champion
wow.
is Wade Scott.
Unexpected. Unexpected.
His first career major. So congratulations to Wade. And
wow.
we're gonna try to get a word with him. And this year, Mike, you can stay with us for that since we have have the ability for another one in here. So congratulations to Wade Scott, the champion of the 36th annual Manitoba Open. And we'll have a word with him here in just a couple minutes.
Very, very impressive. Second time at the Manitoba Open, and he wins. Wow. Very, very impressive. Nice job.
Well, the last day.
You're going to join us, eh?
All right, and joining us now in NDBowlTV is the 36th Manitoba Open champion, Wade Scott. Wade, congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It was unreal weekend for me, that's for sure.
Yeah, take us through your qualifying round. And, I mean, you averaged 230 yesterday. You kind of ran out today and shot 300. And then it got a little hairy there at the end. You had a 190 game the last game.
194 the last game today was the only game under 200. I went to the higher end of the lanes and just didn't seem to carry. Kind of like what this was on the championship pair. I was hitting but just wasn't wanting to carry, and I had an open also, which kind of hurt, but I still won the game with a 194, so I got lucky to stay ahead. So
Well, I don't know. I thought you did a pretty good job considering the pin run you had. Yeah. I really want to know what pair you shot that 300 on.
I shot it on 11 and 12.
11 and 12. That is one of the toughest pairs in the house down at that end.
Really? Okay.
Really, really is. Now, we have a couple of local left-handers would swear by that, how difficult it is. So now that you've bowled the 300, they've got to step up.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, and every shot was on. I mean, that was I never changed balls. I threw the ultimate Nirvana all weekend. Had to make a couple adjustments, but there weren't as many left-handers today, so I was pretty able to just stay where I was. The last games I had to make a little bit of adjustment to get it out, to get the corner pins to fall. But
and I was going to ask you, like, what adjustments did you make that last game there? Because it seemed like you couldn't get the 7 out.
Yeah, I actually moved in about 2 boards and then moved about a 2-in-1 move where I was, and it allowed it to get the corners finally to fall. So
yeah, because you stood a couple of good ones right up on the first 2 frames on that right lane, that's for sure.
Yeah, I did. It was an interesting, and I actually thought when I did that, the way Andy's been bowling, that we'd be going to a second playoff match, but I got, he got a little high, and I got fortunate. So
yeah, we were very surprised by that as well, and not only that. We've been talking about how tough that pair 15 and 16 has been for the left-handers.
Yeah.
You know what? You had a great game on this pair, but no lefty has matched that or found that pair to both lanes.
Yeah, and I think when I played 17 and 18 on the 8th game with him, I had about the same 218, 220, and it was hard there. And then I figured I'd do better on 15 and 16, and it actually was a little more difficult. So
our observation was that pair was definitely the toughest one for the left-handers.
It was.
So you did very well. Congratulations.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
Excellent win.
And like always, CMA next week for you?
Yes, absolutely. I got a couple more going to the CMA, and then the K-Fire after that. And then I think there's Aberdeen after that, and then Fargo, NDBowling.com after that. So, and then
you got a busy
Las
schedule.
Vegas a week after that
for the Open.
So yeah, I got a pretty good run, and if I can continue this run, I'll be finishing the year strong, and that's what I'm looking forward to. So
very nice.
Well, I want to wish you all the best.
Well, congratulations to Wade Scott, the winner of the 36th annual Manitoba Open, his first career major, and hopefully we'll see you on NDBowlTV soon.
I sure hope so, sir. Thank you.
Congrats.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome bowling.
All right, well, that'll do it from Winnipeg. I'd like to thank Mike Borowski for once again joining me in the booth. It was a pleasure as always, and another good tournament. What can you say?
Great tournament, yeah. My pleasure, and I really enjoyed the steps that we had today. That was really good play.
Yeah, very nice, and congratulations too to our runner-up Andy Mills on a hell of a attempt to defend his title as well.
Yeah.
So just a little bad break there in the 10th.
Yeah, unexpected, but unfortunately those things happen sometime.
And for those of you who did join us late, you can always watch the remainder of the show on our archive, which will be uploaded in a couple hours. Once again, I would like to say thank you to everyone who watched today. And you can stay connected to NDBowling.com on Facebook. Like our page, we have a contest coming up for some turbo gear. And you can also follow us on Twitter and subscribe to our YouTube page. Again, thank you to Ebonite, the official bowling ball sponsor of NDBowlTV. You're watching the High Plains Bowling Network. And we'll see you next Sunday from Minot.